Sportin Wales podcast, powered by Sinclair Group, your go-to for Welsh sports news and views. Right, welcome back to another episode of Sportin Wales podcast, sponsored by Sinclair Group. Today I've got two absolute legends with me, two former Cardiff rugby players in Lloyd Williams and Lewis Jones. Lou, how are you, mate? First time on the pod?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, Gareth. It's a privilege, I think. But yeah, all good in the real world now, so yep, all good.
Going right. Lloyd, how are you, mate? How's London life?
Yeah, good, thanks. That's season's winding down. I think we've got a game this weekend against Coley if we win that, we win the league. So a bit of a strange end into the season. We've got like 3 games to go and could be wrapped up this weekend. So I'm hoping for a bit of fun and a bit of flexibility in the schedule this last month.
Plenty of golf, I bet.
Well, because I just had a knee operation.
Right, okay.
No, I can't. If you ask me next week, I'd probably say yes. But yeah, I'm still haven't ticked the golf off yet with my knee, but it should be fine. I'm absolutely desperate to get back out on the course.
Oh, good man. Lewis Jones, 120 caps for Cardiff, was it, with me? And
yeah, 120
is it a bit weird
caps.
being with Lloyd, who was like one of your
heroes? 120
caps,
119 off the bench, I think, because of this man here, but and Thomas, obviously, now.
How's life after rugby?
Say what you
I was
really
robbed of 150.
So you had 120 caps for Cardiff and 119 of them off the bench.
Yeah, I did. No, it wasn't that bad.
No.
But,
you had a good career at Cardiff. Won the European Cup and got to play with Lloyd and Thomas and boys like that.
Yeah, well, when I first came through, obviously Lloyd was there along with Richie Reese, but I was only a young pup back then, so I just took whatever I could at the time, and I was quite fortunate that Lloyd actually got called up for Wales in my first season, which then opened up a little door for me to get
first season.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
well, we joined same year.
2011, yeah.
Yeah, Lloyd, he went to the World Cup that year, and I managed to squeeze a couple of caps in before he came back.
So you're retired now?
Yeah, retired now in the real world.
Yeah, who are you working for now? What's the plan?
I'm working for Indigo.
Yeah.
So I've been with them a year now, which I'm absolutely loving. Is when you're rugby players all your life, it's this big daunting feeling about going into the real world, and I was quite, scared going into it. But honestly, I've taken to it like a duck in water, and can't say good enough things about Indigo, to be honest. Good
guys there. Budgie looking after you, I guess. Do you want to tell everyone what they actually do?
Yeah, so Indigo work with construction companies and just making it safe and legal to work with CIS subcontractors.
So subbies, as you call it.
Yeah, subbies to the general. But it's a great company to work for. I was quite fortunate actually, because I was actually on garden leave from the Dragons, and the CEO of the company, Ian Wilkins, is from Bather.
Yeah. And
I was going to the gym quite a lot, and he was in the gym. And he asked, what are you up to? And I said, oh, look, I didn't have any plans, tried not to, put pressure on myself. And he said, I think there's a job going in the Penarth office with Budgie, Matthew Bennett. And he texted him there and then. And I think the week after, I had a little meeting and a coffee with Budgie. Just, I think he...
Yeah, he must like you, still in it.
Yeah, I'm still going. But, honestly, and like, as rugby players going into the real world, you don't really know how I was going to be. You're going from a team environment, and I wanted to try and keep what I was doing in a team environment. And Indigo's just like that. There's 5 of us in the office, all from different backgrounds, which is nice. So it's
nice.
Really enjoying it.
Lloydie, what have you been up to off field? You obviously in the bit of Thomas Carroll, is it? I think insurance. You still doing that?
Yeah, I'm doing my CII studies, so Chartered Insurance Institute qualifications. Kind of when I moved up here, I think I mentioned on the last pod, but when I moved up here, I thought, as us 3 will know, it gets to 2:00 and our days are done, really, isn't it? Unless you're at some certain clubs. But most of them you're done by 2. And I kind of thought, if I'm coming up here, I wouldn't mind trying to chuck myself into something else outside of rugby and try and feel like what Louis said. He had fortunately a soft landing with Indigo. I'm looking to do the same, really, and Thomas Carroll have been great for me. They put me through my studies, and I'm doing some business development work as well with them up here in London, which there's plenty of contacts. But unlike Wales, they don't care as much about rugby, so you've got to have a bit of substance behind what you're talking about. So I keep it very surface level, but I'm enjoying it. There's some great people up here, and Rob Jones is my line manager.
Yeah.
Who British Lion and Welsh Anscombe. So we've got a lot in common when it comes to rugby and stuff. Well, actually, a bit in common.
A bit in common. Yeah, he's a good man. It'd be a bit remiss not to talk about Gareth on the pod. Obviously, been announced he's signed for Bayonne. Did any of you guys know? Did he tell you?
No, he kept it quite stubborn, to be honest.
Did he tell you, Lloyd?
He said he's had some interest, but it's like when people are out of contract, you don't like asking because you don't want people to feel under pressure a bit. So I kind of left him to it, and I found out like everyone else really on online.
I texted him saying, "Oh, Gareth, have you got anything to say? On the group we got with going on?" And he's like, "No, nothing, mate. Just got trained today." I was like, "You sure?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, and then I sent him the clip of Bayonne announcing him at Bayonne. He goes, "Bloody hell, I didn't even bloody know it was coming out."
He'll probably keep it quiet from me because he knows that I'll take a free trip to south of France with some warm lagers.
You will as well.
Drink his cold ones.
You take all the warm ones and then drink all the cold ones. Yeah, exactly. A couple of questions, lads. I put it on social media just for yourselves. Quite a lot for you, Lewis, I'll be honest. And some of them I probably can't. I probably can't ask, and you know exactly which ones, Lloydie. First one, it's just a little one. Why did Lewis get kicked out of the 20s? Can you go into that or no?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say kicked out.
Wales 20s.
Yeah, so obviously I played. You used to have 2 years 20s back then. So in my first year, we went to a World Cup, which was more like a stag do. It was carnage.
Is that the 100?
Well, you could say 100, but it was 92-0. Obviously, it was quite a famous loss against, Chicken's New Zealand team at the time.
And Gareth playing, wasn't he?
Yeah, Gareth played for New Zealand. I've actually faced Gareth in a haka, which was pretty funny. But no, obviously we lost to New Zealand 92-0. Then we went on to lose to Fiji, which they flew Joe Lloyd out, I think. I don't know what his role was at the time, CEO of the 20s or something like that.
Well, they've had plenty of them already.
And I personally think they were looking for a scapegoat, and we actually had to give a feedback form in, and they said it's an anonymous feedback.
Did you put your name down?
No, I didn't put my name. I just put it, straight up how it was. That it was a shambles. We didn't treat it like a World Cup, blah, blah, blah. Went back to Blues that year, and I had a meeting with Phil Davis about, being professional and stuff like that. And he pulled out my anonymous form from 20s, and I was like, how have you got that? He's like, oh, well, obviously so I don't know if they handpicked it out and see what I had to say, but won't be filling out any more anonymous forms, that's for sure.
You must have had a certain thing to say that they
remember. I must have rubbed someone up the wrong way.
Without checking you under the bus, didn't you? Didn't you? You didn't know who Joe Lloyd was, and you could have asked him where.
No, it wasn't Joe. It was Roger Lewis, is it?
You didn't know who any of them were?
I think it was. Well, here again, it shows how much he introduced himself. I think it was Roger Lewis, the CEO of Welsh.
He's the CEO at the time, yeah.
Yeah, and he was out there, and he was sat next to our. What do you say they were called?
Liaison
officer. This Italian Simeone. So I said, "Oh, how are you going, Simeone?" And Roger was next to him. I was like, "Oh, you were liaison officer as well?" And he's like, "No, I'm actually the chief executive of your union." I was like, "Phew, I'd have done well, eh?"
Oh, no wonder you're off the 20s.
Yeah. So the next year, I got blacklisted against that.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, that's well. Yeah, fair play. That's pretty much you, really, isn't it?
Yeah, the scapegoat. That's what I'm going to say.
Got another one here. What did you send all your dad's email contacts in work?
Yeah, not
Can
sure.
you say on it?
No, probably not. No, I probably shouldn't go into that one.
Okay, I can imagine what it is.
But it was an error, and now I'm in the real world. I understand how much of an error it was, and it's probably the only prank I've played on my dad that I actually regret doing. So I'll just say that.
Right, okay. Lloyd, I got one for you here. What does the meaning "more of a hindrance than a help" mean?
I can tell you the meaning of that. And I can tell you who was that in one session. I particularly someone who's provided, well, basically a roadblock instead of actually helping things. But it was I can remember it very, very vividly. Going back to what something Louis said in the squad for years, with with one another. It doesn't happen everywhere, but Louis, Tommy, and myself were really close, so we're good mates. But like compete, but support each other. I think it was a cold like December morning, which a lot of people think it's an amazing job, but when it's pissing down with rain and it's freezing, sometimes you'd rather be in the office with a cup of tea. And I remember we were doing this drill, and Lewis and I and Tommy would stand next to each other, taking turns passing the balls to facilitate the drill. And one of the wingers had it on the other side of the field, and Lewis was stood about a yard in front of me. The ball was kicked back towards me, and Louis put his hands up in front of my face, and he put his hands up right in front of my face. So I thought Louis will catch the ball, and this ball's like rifling over from the other side.
I'm sure it was a spiral as well.
And Louis opened his hands, and it's just gone straight into my face. What
was your reaction?
Yeah, that was exactly my reaction. I went, you're more of a hindrance.
No, his reaction was, jockey, get rid of this fucker. He's more of a hindrance than a help.
You didn't play again, now you did you?
No, and that was my 120th cap, over and out.
Was that? But just to like iron that out, Louis was even. We've all had a chance of being like, not playing. Not picked for the weekend, but Louis was the best person I've ever in any squad I've ever been of, being like raising the group, because often that's like the challenge, isn't it? Like the people who aren't playing, they actually drag the team down unintentionally, but they're not happy. But I reckon Louis was the best person I've had in a squad that like would actually raise that level up.
100%.
And it goes on that. So I remember when we get into European chat, Danny Wilson said about the final, he was like, "You are a nailed-on travelling reserve." I was like, I'm taking that as a compliment.
No chance of trying to get in the squad, but
no, you are nailed on. Thank you, Dan.
We'll talk about the story later on when we went to South Africa, wasn't it? With after the 50-hour trip.
Sinclair Group has been part of the motor industry for over 80 years. That's not just a number, it's generations of trust built on shared values, because family isn't just who you're born to, it's who you choose to stand with, and that's what matters to us. We offer new and approved used vehicle sales and service for some of the world's biggest motor brands, and trust, that's at the heart of it all. So whether you're starting your journey or continuing a legacy, visit sinclairgroup.co.uk. Belong for good.
Get ready for European Club Rugby's biggest weekend. The EPCR Challenge Cup and Investit Champions Cup finals are landed at the Principality Stadium on the Friday the 23rd and Saturday the 24th of May. Bath Rugby face Lyon in the Challenge Cup final, and Northampton Saints take on Bordeaux Bègles on the following day in the Champions Cup final. It's going to be a huge weekend of rugby. Tickets start from just £60. Grab yours now on the WU's website and be part of rugby history. On today's show, obviously, we'll be looking a little bit ahead about the two final weekends of the URC. Obviously, Cardiff, a chance to qualify in the top 8 with the Scarlets. And then, obviously, after that, we'll chat around the EPCR Champions Cup final and Challenge Cup finals, which are played in Cardiff, which should be quite cool. But first up, two Welsh clubs, obviously, qualifying top 8 is pretty massive, isn't it, Lou? Cardiff, our old club, done pretty well this season in the jockey. I think, Matt Sherratt, considering.
Very well, and it'll be really good with all the flack that Welsh Rugby are having at the minute. If we can get two teams in our top 8, I think it'll really boost, the support that the national team need for one, and the support regional rugby need, because I've seen Scarlets obviously had a good win on the weekend, and I think not many people understand how hard it is to go to South Africa. And people will say, the Lions are the worst, but you're in Joburg, you can't breathe, they're all massive, and it's a big task to go out there and get a W. So, I got fingers crossed, and I'll be supporting Cardiff this weekend. Hopefully they can bring home a W and be our second team in the top 8.
Yeah, what do you think the job Matt Sherratt's done, Lloyd, since he's sort of taken over the head role? Because obviously we know him as the backs coach, don't we? But he's taken that head role, and the progression is massive, isn't it, from the last 2 seasons, really? Yeah,
it's been great. And even when Jockey was our attack coach, I think he was first to say, I'm not sure I'd ever want to be head coach, but from talking to him and the things he spoke about, the bigger picture stuff, I always thought he'd be a really good head coach, because he tried tapping into like the history or the DNA of a team.
Yeah.
And I think what's clear for me to say, he hasn't told me this, but he's trying to like play entertaining rugby and like attack, which is, I know it's like a bit of an obvious thing to say, but if you've got an attacking mindset, it provides like entertainment. And whenever I've been to the Anscombe Park, I've probably been like 5 times in the last 2 years. It's all been like a good game, like great game to watch. So I've seen that, and I think what Jockey's like, he had a great first half of the season.
Yeah,
and I think he's been very clear with the boys and honest. Like, we need to make playoffs, whatever that takes. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's saying, lads, we just need 4 tries today. It doesn't matter if we lose. I know that's that, but it doesn't matter. They get 1 point, they're through, and that's what it. As we know, and go back to that European year, if you just hit a bit of form, like in one of these games, like things can just like start snowballing, and who knows what happens if you make playoffs.
Yeah, I think they were unlucky not to get 4 tries on the weekend. I think they're going to need at least a point, maybe 2, against the Stormers away, who, stats-wise, they got the best attack in the URC, but the worst defence. Yeah, so there's an opportunity there, isn't there?
As you've seen on the weekend, the Bulls come out flying, and I think the game was gone pretty early on. So then, like Lloyd just said, I think the message would have been, let's just go all out and get them 4 tries. They were, they come just short, but with that stat that the Stormers got the worst defence, is probably something they will be targeting if just to get that 1 point. Obviously, you try and win the game, but your aim is let's get 4 tries and then see where we are on the scoreboard.
Yeah, going back to Jockey, Lloyd, because obviously you know him quite well. Obviously, his name's been pretty touted for the Wales job this summer. You think that's a good fit for Wales at the moment? I think with Matt taking that role.
Yeah, I do. It's a loss for Cardiff, but if we're purely from Welsh perspective, I think the lads need real good coaching. I think Jockey's a good, he's a really good coach. Like a good coach is a teacher, and I think he teaches you a lot about the game. And I really think the squad we've got at the moment, or the players we've got to pick from in Wales, I really think with a good coach they could punch well above their weight. I kind of like, over the last couple of years, a lot of like the narrative around the players aren't good enough. I didn't really agree with that. I think we've got good enough players to compete against the best teams. I just felt like the detail probably wasn't there. So I really think Jockey could be a great addition to the Welsh team. And I think we saw very quickly, I know that England game, that was just a probably byproduct of the year, but I felt like we could see like a real identity with the Welsh team as soon as Jock took over. So I'd be a massive advocate.
That's the thing with Jock. He will, like, just speaking on, because obviously I was on the fringe of the squad when he was there, he really looks after every player and he makes you believe, like, winning the changing room is the first thing. You've got to have the boys believe in you, 1 as a coach and 2 as a person. And I think Jockey's got that nailed down, and he will take the boys to Japan. They're going, innit? Yeah. And he'll give them real belief to go out there, express themselves, and like put a bit of thing behind Welsh rugby again. So I think I'm all for it, just like Lloydie.
And I think he'll probably have a choice of who he wants to take staff-wise, which would be even, would be able to get his point across even more, wouldn't it? So maybe, likes of Gareth and Jake. I know it's just pretty bad for Cardiff, isn't it, in terms of maybe if he took Gareth in, and obviously Adam Jones would probably be there, or someone like Lee Half being the kicking coach is sort of being rumoured. That would make it a lot easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so obviously as a coach, you want to go there with people who know your vision, believe in your vision, and are going to support you. What you don't want is a mixture of coaches who all got different visions, trying to, put it all into place, and then it just becomes a bit of a circus end, doesn't it? Yeah,
but we'll see. Scarlet's massive win, obviously, out at Lions last week, which we know it's near impossible to win out there, isn't it? It's so tough. They're sort of a team that, when you spoke about when we had that run at Cardiff, hitting form at the right time, they really are going well at the moment. Leinster home win, going into Lions away, and pretty much guaranteed themselves a top 8 spot now. Yeah,
that's brilliant. I didn't see that happening before Christmas with the Scarlets, the way things were going.
Yeah.
But they've got, like, their best players are playing their best stuff now, which is really good. Like, sometimes you get people doing that at the start of the season, and you see, like, someone, which we can all see, like Blair Murray, he's a proper... changes the course of the game with his actions. So like someone like that playing well at the time. They also like look across their squad. They've got like Gareth Davis at 9, like British Lion, top quality player playing good rugby. When you got boys like that playing well, you're going to be a tough team to beat, wherever you are. And them beating Leinster at home, that's probably, albeit like a second string Leinster side, but that's sometimes the confidence you need to, like you said, go to South Africa and win, because, as you said, it's a tough place to win.
Yeah, obviously you got players like Blair Murray playing well, who for me was, he has to have been in that conversation with the Lions. Tane Plumtree, Sam Costello back, to be fair to him. He's been out injured and he's come in and he's started to play pretty well, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I don't really know Sam that well, but they just, when he's been playing for Wales, obviously it hasn't been going his way. And you come under a lot of flack then, and for an outside half, it's all about confidence. So his confidence must be knocked. So it'd be maybe nice for him now, get a nice run of games, hopefully into that Japan trip then, where he can just express himself again. But on to your both points about Blair Murray's a game changer. They also got a good foreign contingency with Fafita. Fafita, who can change a game. He can run like a winger.
Sam Lousy
as well. So they've got them players where they can go and upset the big teams, and playoff rugby it's like a final every week, so anything could happen. Yeah,
they've recruited well. I thought they've got a lot of players in that pack as well. They've got that platform, haven't they? And you've got the likes of Johnny Williams, Max Page is pretty good, and Tommy Rogers, Ellis Mee. They've got a great side, Scarlets, and they are starting to find a bit of form. But they're playing the Sharks, which is going to be a tough game, isn't it, out there? In Durban. But they will know exactly what they need in order to qualify, because all the games on Friday. I think they're playing a bit later, so that will help. But I think they're definitely going to be in the top 8.
Yeah, well, like you said, the Sharks, a star-studded team, so and it's a tough place to go as well. But like you said, it will be handy that they know what they need, whether it's that 4 tries, whether it's they need to win. So that's always good, because you can plan around that.
If they do get into the top 8, they're going to be in the Champions Cup, which is good to get. We need a Welsh team in the Champions Cup, don't we? This year's been a bit odd not having one. And we know the Challenge Cup and the Champions Cup finals are in the Principality this year, and the final is Northampton v Bordeaux. Did anyone expect those two to make the final?
Well, obviously, I watched the semi-final, Northampton-Leinster, and I'd like to find a man who said Northampton will beat Leinster, because if you look at their Premiership form, I think they're 7th or 8th, or maybe even further down than that.
They're out of the top 4 anyway, yeah.
And I don't think any person who watches rugby would have backed them, but again, look at the players they got, that Henry Pollock, just game changers who you need to have, and it's knockout rugby, so it's
one game, isn't it?
One game, that's all it is.
What do you think of that semi-final, Lloyd, Northampton, Leinster? I think they were 1-30 on to win Leinster. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, it's class, man. It's a bit like what Louis said, classic case of you've got just an absolute machine, Leinster, against what looked like just a bit of a free-flowing rugby team in Northampton, boys playing well. Just you're seeing, as all everyone chats about is shape and stuff. Then see Pollock hit like a line. It's no, don't tell me at all that week Leinster were prepared to defend that, which is just goes to show is there such a room for it. It's a bit like a French team playing, and I think the final will be more exciting with Northampton in than with Leinster in. I don't know why. I know Leinster are an incredible team, but it's a bit
robotic, isn't it? Yeah.
In the way they play, which is seriously effective. But I just like the individuals Northampton have got. I think they're just so exciting. They can just break a game up, and then you look at what Bordeaux have got. I kind of thought Bordeaux they're going to be in the mix, but I would never have said Northampton. Especially when we beat them in the Prem Cup by 40 points. So this team,
oh, you man of the match, Lloyd.
But I think that means that Ealing are better than Leinster now.
Yeah, I take that.
Sinclair Group has been part of the motor industry for over 80 years. And in that time, we've learned it's not just about cars, it's about the impact we leave behind. We believe in driving change, supporting the people around us where we live and work. Because when our communities thrive, we all do. We offer new and approved used vehicle sales and service for some of the world's biggest motor brands. But what drives us goes far beyond the road. So whether you're starting your journey or continuing your legacy, visit sinclairgroup.co.uk. Belong for good.
4 teams, 2 epic rugby finals under the roof of one iconic stadium. The EPCR Challenge Cup and the Investit Champions Cup finals returns to the Principality Stadium on the 23rd and the 24th of May. Bath Rugby face Lyon in the Challenge Cup final before Northampton Saints take on Bordeaux Bègles in the Champions Cup final. With everything to play for, will you be there to see it live? Tickets start from just £60. Grab yours now on the WU website and watch the history unfold. Obviously, Toulouse losing was a bit of a surprise, but I think that Antoine Dupont factor is huge, isn't it? It does show how good he is, doesn't it?
It goes to show the impact he has on a game. Yeah. Because not that they look lost to lose, because obviously they've still got 20 odd other world class players, but just the control he gives them, the threat that he is, and just without him, obviously, would have been a different game. Probably.
Were you involved in that game? Lloyd, you were, weren't you? Remember when we played Toulouse away and we beat them? And the 9 Dupont, that was his first ever game, wasn't it?
I was probably running the tee on or something like that.
Yeah, definitely running the water on.
Yeah. That was Dupont's first, it was his first season at Toulouse, was it?
Yeah.
And he actually played class that first half. And then we started, it nullified him. And then I remember we just got on top in the second half. That was a massive win for us looking back.
Yeah, we had some run, didn't we, that year. We'll do a little quick game here, head to head. I'll pick your favourites afterwards, but we'll go through the players that will be involved in this final. I think it's going to be a high scoring final, isn't it? It's going to be really a lot of tries. First one, Henry Pollock versus Pete Samu.
Pollock.
Lloyd.
Pollock.
Maxime Lucu v Alex Mitchell.
I'm
Lloyd?
going to say Lucu. I love Lucu.
Lucu, yeah, he's good, isn't he? Some serious players like that. Finn Smith or Mathé Jalabert?
Finn Smith.
Smith for me.
On that note, Finn Smith start 10 for Lions, the way he's playing?
If he were to pick right now, you'd have to go Finn Smith the way he's playing, but he's young.
Yeah.
Out in Lion. Well, I can't comment really, but...
Lloyd?
Yeah, I'd say so. He's playing he's just so chilled, and he just seems like the game just comes easy to him. So having someone like that at 10 is as we know, makes our life easier, makes everyone's life easier when your 10's a bit chilled.
Yeah, he seems. I remember playing him years ago when he was I think he was at Worcester. We were at Exeter, and he just never thought he'd be a Lion from then. But yeah, progression wise, I tell you what, it does show. It shows how good Sam Vesti must be as an attack coach, and those Northampton coaches. I don't know if you've got an opinion on them, Lloyd, but if you were Wales, would you surely have a little conversation with them lot?
Yeah, I don't know. Biggs frequently saying Vesti was one of the best coaches worked with, and a lot of Northampton, Tom Collins and a few other Northampton lads at Ealing now, and they speak really highly of him. He's a really good coach and teacher. So yeah, no surprise there.
Yeah, would be surprised. We'll keep going on. Mo Fana versus Fraser Dingwell.
I like that for Fana. Good player.
Same. I think he's a proper threat.
Here we go. 2 of the probably best players in the Tommy Freeman versus Louis Biel-Bieri.
Biel-Bieri. That's how you say it. I just love watching him because he doesn't look like a typical, rugby player. He's got a scrum hat on, and you think, "Who's this?" Next thing you know, he's under the sticks again.
Reminds me of that kid in school. You don't know where to put him, just chuck him on the wing.
Yeah, probably turn up, rugby gloves, head guard, undershorts to his knees, and you're
massive
like,
shoulder
who's
pads.
this? Yeah, next thing you know, he's stepping you in a phone box.
Yeah, he is. He is unreal. Well, to be fair, both those players, mate, they've scored every game in the Six Nations, which is is tough to do. Then we got Damien Penaud versus Ollie Slightholme.
Is Penaud fit? I thought he was injured.
I don't know. Hopefully he's going to be fit. He should be all right.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're strapping him up.
I think he's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
For me, he's the best winger in the world, I think.
Again with him, though, he looks like he should be in the office, and then he's just unreal. He's fast, strong, can kick, can pass. He's got everything.
He's like the horse.
I just love watching him as well. And when he's running, he just doesn't look like he's trying, and he's just going past everyone. A bit like you back in the day.
Oh, yeah, quite a few years ago, mate. Last one, Furbank v Burros. I don't think Furbank's going to be fit, to be fair.
No, he's another good player, though, strong runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Furbank.
Quite like Furbank. Yeah. He's like having 2 10s on the field, and he just...
Yeah. I'm not sure if he's fit, though, because I think he would have been in that Lions contention as well. Who's your favourites, lads? That's going to be some final. I had Bordeaux quite early on in the comp, to be honest.
I just think from beating Leinster, the confidence you must have going from that, because like I don't know how many teams have beaten this year, it's probably count them on one hand, but going from that semi-final, the boys, they got a couple of Lions in there, they're going to be on top of the world, so I go for Northampton.
Lloydie?
Yeah, just to come from a different angle, I almost think it could have been Northampton's final against Leinster. But we've all done it. You have your final the week before. It'd be tough for them to match that against Bordeaux, but they've got amazing players. So, I mean, if they turn it on, they could do it, Northampton, couldn't they?
I wouldn't be surprised the way that Henry Pollock factor and how good his last couple of months would be. It would not surprise me if they go on a win. But I think Bordeaux they are on fire this year, aren't they? They're probably going to win the top 14 as well, in and around it. That leads on nicely to the Challenge Cup final, lads. The one that we won obviously a couple of years ago, 2017-18.
Yeah, the most important one.
Most important one. Jeez, we had some run in that year, didn't we? I'm not sure how we did it. We were like 9th in the league, and we'd gone. It's like Man United and Tottenham in the Europa League.
I think we just left the league there, didn't we, and just concentrated on that.
I think we did, yeah.
Great decision.
Sinclair Group has been part of the motor industry for over 80 years, and we've never stood still. Because for us, it's not just about where we've been, it's about where we're going. We believe in progress, embracing innovation, investing in technology, and moving towards a more sustainable future for everyone. We offer new and approved used vehicle sales and service for some of the world's most forward-thinking motor brands. But our drive is always to the future. So whether you're starting your journey or continuing your legacy, visit sinclairgroup.co.uk. Belong for good.
Take your Challenge and Champions Cup finals experience to the next level with Principality Stadium hospitality. Get VIP treatment for the EPCR Challenge Cup or InvestStep Champions Cup finals in world-class hospitality, and expect luxury dining experience and complimentary drinks as you watch the rugby action unfold from the best seats in the house. Bath face Lyon in the EPCR Challenge Cup on the 23rd of May, and Northampton Saints take on Bordeaux Bègles on the 24th of May. It's the perfect way to treat your friends, family and guests during the huge weekend of rugby action. Head to the Principality Stadium's website to secure your space today. Lyon v Bath. So another good game. Both very attacking teams. You got Finn Russell, Thomas du Toit, Sam Underhill, Will Stewart on the Bath side. And then Lyon have got Baptiste Couillard, I can never say his name, Semi Radraja, David Nashvili, the Georgian fullback, who he's a hell of a player. This could be a hell of a game as well, isn't it? Friday night.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's like you said, like we just alluded to with French rugby, you've got Bath with Finn Russell at 10, who are playing obviously top of the Premiership, playing some outstanding stuff, and then Lyon, star-studded team again, should be a thriller as well.
Lloyd, you got much take on that? Bath would be favourites, you reckon?
I agree. I think everyone's the backs of Bath get all the rap, but I reckon what's really underrated about is like the actual size of them.
Yeah,
they're just such a big team. I think they'll be able to cope with Lyon's size, and then you got Finn Russell pulling the strings. Big game player, like he's gonna be, and Ben Spencer as well. He's a great player for them, quite pivotal. So I think Bath will win that game. They've had a hell of a season.
They have.
I think they're in good form.
Yeah, they're going for the treble, aren't they? I think the league, obviously, they're going to be favourites for the league. They won the Premiership Cup, didn't they? And then obviously they got to get Lyon are a good side, man. I watched Lyon play Ospreys a couple of weeks ago in the Ospreys, and they brought down pretty much second team, but their defence was unbelievable. So if they can do that again,
they're always there or thereabouts, Lyon as well. I think at Cardiff we come across them loads of times in the Challenge and
we did,
Champions Cup. They're a tough team because I know it's historic of French teams sending a second team to away games, but even then, it's not like, it's a second team. It's still a very good team. So it's, like you said, we're on for a good final.
Lloyd, did you play the game we played Lyon away? And we were like, lads, the whole week was like, right, start well. First kick-off, get into them, get the kick-off. I remember chasing the ball. I've gone for a big hit on the number 8. He stepped me, and then he's run the length. They've scored within 4 offloads, 30 seconds of under the post, and Gethin Jenkins going, what the fuck is going on here? We're like, lads, we'll start again. Because
the stadium we played in is like a proper football stadium.
It was, wasn't it?
They spoke, the coaches, by the time they went from the changing room, give us a chat to like finally get to the box, I think it was 7-0. They were like, "Oh, there must be a mistake," because like they're looking at us kick off again.
Was that?
It must be a mistake.
Was it the year Ellis Jenkins had an interception off the back of a line?
No. It was like a year before that.
They tried signing Jared Evans after the game because he was that good.
Brilliant. It was brilliant.
He was unreal. Lads.
We went on to win.
We did. I'm not sure, I can't remember what year that was, but any memories from the year that we won? Obviously, Lou, you were travelling reserve, so you should have a fair few.
Well, the good memory I got is the semi-final versus Pow on the Arms Park. I think it's one of the fullest I've seen the Arms Park. It was boiling hot. I don't think we would have been favourites going in because they had Conrad Smith, Tommy Taylor, one of the Armitage brothers. They had a good team. And I think people probably thought, Cardiff put a good fight up. And then I think Chicken Boy scored within 5 minutes.
Yeah, we had a good start, didn't we?
Yeah, and so that was one of the good memories. And then just the final. Obviously, I was travelling reserve. So I actually went out with the squad the day before, stayed that night, stayed the night of the game, and then stayed the night after the game.
So Leinster played Racing on the Saturday.
That's it. And
we were in Bilbao.
We were in Bilbao, boiling hot.
What a city that was.
Very good memory.
Lloyd, you got... Obviously, I just remember a couple of nights out after, I think we had in Cardiff, didn't we?
Yeah.
Walking around Pontcanna with a trophy. Lewis was walking around with his medal.
I was like John Terry.
It was class. It was weird, though, when we were in Bilbao for the day, celebrating. And then I think it got to like 5 o'clock and Leinster had won. And it was almost as if we got carted out the pub. It was like, right, your time to go. The real champions are in. They went back to Cardiff then. But don't remember much from the game. Tommy's try, Chicken's kick. I remember the 2 hours in the change room after, really, with the whole squad and staff. It was class. It was a brilliant feeling.
Yeah, I remember everyone had beers. The change room was absolutely wrecked, wasn't it? It just stank of Heineken.
Yeah, and cigars.
Literally. Well, we obviously haven't got any Welsh teams in it this year, but I think, you got to be honest, Leon v Bath Challenge Cup final is going to be a good game, and the Northampton Bordeaux could be an absolute cracker. So, massive game. Principality is no better stadium to play those finals. Roof closed on a nice sunny weekend. So, lads, just want to say thanks for coming on. Lou, it's been a pleasure. First time on.
Thank you very much.
You got to sing a song now. Lloyd, mate, pleasure as always. And we'll have to get you down in the studio soon, and plenty of golf over the summer, I think, isn't there?
Yeah, great. Back soon.
All right. Cheers, lads. Take care.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
Sportin Wales podcast, powered by Sinclair Group, your go-to for Welsh sports news and views.